Hello, English learners, and welcome. I'm your host, Paul. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Excited to chat about English learning today. Today we're plunging into a really crucial aspect of communication. It's
hmm
actually just one simple trick, but it can genuinely transform how you engage in fluent English conversation.
Yeah, it sounds almost too simple, but it's powerful.
It really is. We've gone through our sources and found some, well, pretty powerful insights into how just a subtle shift in your approach can unlock a much more natural conversation flow.
And it does more than that, right? It helps demonstrate kind of deeper thought.
Exactly, and helps forge stronger connections, too. So our mission for you today, by the end of this deep dive, is to really get how to move past those, conversational dead
Those
ends.
awkward silences.
Yeah, exactly. And instead, learn how to infuse your exchanges with clarity and real purpose. You'll walk away not just informed, but hopefully ready to connect on a completely new level.
And look, this isn't about drilling grammar rules or memorizing vocabulary lists, is it?
Not at all.
The heart of what we're digging into today is really about making your communication fundamentally more meaningful,
Mm,
more effective.
right.
It's about making sure that, every chat you have leaves both you and the other person feeling genuinely connected and understood.
So, okay, let's dive into it then. Our sources kept pointing to one core reason why conversations just falter,
hmm
and it's those short, unsupported answers, you know the ones, replies that just leave nowhere to go.
Yeah, the other person's just left scrambling,
hmm
thinking, okay, what next?
Precisely. So, the simple but incredibly powerful key we're exploring today is this: always explain why.
It's amazing how basic that sounds, but it's fundamental. Understanding and actually saying the why
Hmm.
behind your statements isn't just like helpful for sounding fluent, it's essential.
How so?
Well, it's the mechanism really that lets you express your thoughts clearly and crucially, it keeps the conversation moving forward naturally, organically.
Ah, so you're not just dropping a fact bomb.
Exactly. You're not just stating something flatly. You're actually inviting more discussion because you're giving the context, the reasons for your response.
Okay, and that leads us right into the first big benefit then. Explaining why naturally extends conversations. It gives the other person something solid to engage with.
Totally. If you just give a bare answer, there's often no hook, is there? Nothing for them to grab onto to keep the dialogue going.
Yeah, it just hangs there.
Think about something really simple like food preferences. Someone asks what food you like, and you just say, I love Italian food.
Okay.
I mean, that's fine, but
Yeah.
where does the conversation really go from there? Often it just kind of fizzles out.
Yeah, stalls. There's no clear path forward.
Exactly. But now imagine adding just a little bit more. What if you said, I love Italian food because the fresh ingredients are always such high quality.
Okay.
The cooking methods seem simple, but they're so effective, and I just find the flavors have this perfect balance.
Ah, right. Now you've given them things to respond to.
Precisely. Suddenly you've offered three distinct points: quality ingredients, simple cooking, flavor balance.
So they could ask about your favorite dish, or if you cook it yourself.
Or share their own experiences with Italian food, maybe a trip they took. You've given them a genuine invitation to connect, not just a statement.
That makes sense. And I guess this principle is even more powerful with bigger topics like career choices.
Oh, absolutely. Just saying, I want to become a teacher, well, it's a fine goal, but doesn't really tell anyone about your passion or your drive, does it?
No, you just get the, oh, that's nice. And then silence.
Right.
Yeah.
But what if you elaborate? I want to become a teacher because I genuinely love helping others grasp new concepts.
Okay, that's one reason.
I really enjoy the creative challenge of designing engaging lesson plans, and ultimately, I want to make a lasting positive impact on students' futures.
See, now that paints a picture. You're sharing your values, what actually motivates you.
And the conversation can then naturally flow into things like educational challenges or the rewards of teaching, or maybe specific subjects you're keen on. It opens doors.
What about opinions, like, say, about a movie?
Same principle applies. Just saying, the movie wasn't good, explains. Well, nothing really about your perspective. It's a closed door.
Yeah, not good could mean anything. Too long, too silly.
Exactly. But if you offer, I didn't enjoy the movie because I found the acting quite wooden, the storyline was genuinely confusing, and the ending just left me completely baffled.
Ah, now you're giving specifics. You're backing it up.
Right. You're providing clear support for your view, and that allows for a much richer discussion. Someone might agree, or they might push back respectfully on your points about the acting or the plot.
It turns a simple statement into a real exchange, maybe even a friendly debate.
Exactly. And this ability to keep the conversation flowing naturally, it leads to something even deeper.
Which is?
It demonstrates your thinking process.
Ah, okay. So here's where the why really starts to show your critical thinking skills.
Precisely. When you explain your reasons, it immediately signals you've actually given real thought to your opinions and choices. It shows you're not just, speaking off the cuff.
Right, not just reacting.
Take a big decision, like choosing a university. If you just state, I chose this university.
Okay, facts stated.
Yeah, but it tells us nothing about how you decided. We get no insight into the logic or the priorities behind that choice. It's just a piece of information.
But if you explain why,
Right. If you say, I chose this university because it has an excellent reputation for research in my specific field.
okay, reason one.
They offered a really generous scholarship, which was a big factor, and it's located in this vibrant city with lots of relevant job opportunities.
Now that shows the thinking. 3 strong, well-considered reasons.
Exactly. It immediately demonstrates the depth of your research, the strategic thinking behind such a huge life decision. You've clearly weighed different factors, analyzed them, and reached a reasoned conclusion.
That makes a lot of sense. And we see this with lifestyle choices too, right?
Definitely. Someone might say, I started exercising regularly.
Which is great. But
But it doesn't tell us why. What's the motivation? What are the goals? It's just an action floating in space.
okay, so how does the why help here?
Well, connect it. I started exercising regularly because it dramatically boosts my productivity at work.
Ah, a tangible benefit.
It's also a huge help in managing my anxiety, and of course, it keeps me healthy overall.
See, now you're not just stating a fact, you're giving this comprehensive, thought-out response. It shows you've really considered the benefits for you personally.
You've linked the action to a clear purpose, multiple purposes even.
Okay, one more example on this point, travel preferences.
Right. Simply saying, I prefer traveling in spring.
Again, tells us very little. Why spring?
Exactly. What do you value in a trip? We don't know. But if you say, I prefer traveling in spring because the flights are usually cheaper.
Practical reason.
The temperature is absolutely perfect for sightseeing without melting, and you often get to enjoy unique seasonal events like cherry blossom festivals.
Okay, clear justification. Budget, comfort, experience.
And immediately, that opens up potential conversations about travel budgeting, ideal weather, cultural events. It all stems from explaining the why. It shows you think things through.
And this leads to the third big reason, which is maybe less obvious.
Yeah, I think it's often overlooked, but maybe it's the most impactful. It's how sharing your why actually builds deeper connections.
How does that work?
Well, when you reveal your reasons, you're essentially inviting others to understand your perspective, to see the world just for a moment through your eyes.
Oh, okay.
And often that's where people find common ground. It fosters this sense of relatability and connection. It makes you more human, more understandable.
I can see that. I think it happens a lot when people talk about hobbies. Just saying, I like playing guitar, it's fine.
It is fine, yeah.
But it doesn't really convey the passion, does it? Or the personal connection you might have to it?
Huh.
It doesn't really invite the other person into that part of your world.
Not really.
Yeah.
But what if you articulate why? I like playing guitar because it's an incredible way for me to unwind and relax.
Okay, the stress relief aspect.
I also get immense satisfaction from trying to create my own music, and honestly, it's just a really fun way to spend time and connect with friends when we jam together.
Right now you've shared emotional reasons, creative ones, social ones. That's much richer.
They're powerful reasons. They expand on the simple statement and genuinely show your passion. And that opens up avenues for talking about shared experiences or the role music plays in life generally.
Makes sense. How about something like where you want to live?
Same idea. Just stating, I want to live in the city, doesn't explain your lifestyle preferences or really invite connection. The listener is left wondering, why the city? What appeals to you about it?
Okay, so the why adds the personal context.
Exactly. When you explain, I want to live in the city because it's so convenient for shopping and entertainment.
Lifestyle factor.
There are significantly more diverse job opportunities in my field there, and the public transportation makes getting around so much easier.
Now you're not just giving reasons, you're revealing your priorities, your values, what matters to you.
Right. You're painting a picture of the life you envision, and that allows others to see if their own preferences line up or just understand you better. It leads to a much more meaningful exchange.
Okay, last one on this connection point. Cultural interests, like learning a language.
Yeah. Simply saying, I am learning Korean.
It lacks. something. Why Korean specifically? What's the spark?
That's right. It lacks the motivation, the cultural insight. But when you explain why, I'm learning Korean because I'm absolutely fascinated by Korean cinema and its unique storytelling.
Interest driven.
I really want to understand K-pop lyrics without having to rely on translations all the time, and I'm actually planning to visit Seoul next year to experience the culture firsthand.
Wow, okay, now that provides such rich context, background, understanding.
It lets the listener connect deeply with your motivations, your journey. They get your curiosity. They can relate to your enthusiasm. It makes the whole thing much more engaging.
This whole idea of the why, it's not just about the words we use, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Our sources actually shared a really powerful personal story that illustrates this beautifully. It shows how communicating your underlying reasons, your why, can create these profound connections even without words.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, it's an anecdote about someone who spent a decade, 10 years, as a missionary over in South Korea.
Okay, long time.
Yeah, and during that time, naturally, they missed a lot of big family events back home, including their father's 60th birthday party.
Oh, that's tough.
Right. And they couldn't be there physically, obviously. So they started brainstorming. How could they really be there for their dad, in spirit?
What did they come up with?
Knowing their dad absolutely loved James Brown.
Okay, a man of taste.
Yeah. They decided to create a really special video. They actually got their Korean students involved and even ripped in a local leatherworker friend.
Wow.
And they all lip-synced and danced along to a James Brown song. Then they meticulously edited it all together into this full-blown music video montage.
That sounds incredible. What was the dad's reaction?
He absolutely adored it. Apparently, even though the speaker couldn't be there in person, the video made him feel genuinely seen and thought of and just deeply cared for, despite the thousands of miles between them.
It wasn't just the video itself, was it?
Exactly. It was the effort, the thought, the sheer intention behind it all. That's what landed.
So the why behind the action.
Precisely. The why, the desire to show love, to be there for his dad, even though he was far away, that was communicated so clearly through all that creative effort.
It was like a concrete expression of the motivation.
Yes. That intention, that reason for going so far above and beyond, it created this incredibly powerful, long-lasting emotional impact. Just like a well-explained why does in a conversation. It's about communicating your reason for caring.
Even when words aren't the main medium.
Right.
And, you can absolutely apply this in smaller ways in your own life. Think about those little everyday actions. Like maybe leaving a coffee on a coworker's desk when you know they're having a rough morning. Or sending a genuinely thoughtful text message, not just a generic one. Or even just jotting down a quick, personalized note.
Those small gestures.
Yeah, but they aren't just gestures, are they? When they're fueled by a specific why, a reason rooted in genuine care, a specific thought about that person, they can make a huge difference to someone's day.
And strengthen the relationship, too.
Absolutely. It's the intent, the why shining through the action that really resonates deeply with people.
So when we boil it all down, what does this really mean for you listening?
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
The fundamental power of explaining why in your conversations, it really goes far beyond just achieving fluency, doesn't it?
Much true. Yeah.
It's really about fostering richer, more meaningful connections. It's about expressing your thoughts with real clarity and ultimately making every interaction truly count for something.
Couldn't agree more. Whether you're just, articulating why you prefer certain foods or sharing your big career dreams or even showing someone you care from afar through a thoughtful action, that deliberate act of sharing your underlying reasons, your why, it just adds incredible depth. It genuinely invites engagement from others, and ultimately it strengthens the bonds you share.
So maybe as you go about your day-to-day, perhaps take a moment to consider someone important in your life, someone you care about but maybe can't be physically present with right now.
Okay.
And just think, why can you communicate? Either through your words or perhaps through an action that will truly show them you care and help bridge that distance.